Désiré Doué, the future Neymar of PSG? A question that has been on everyone's lips since his arrival at Paris Saint-Germain. The 19-year-old French sensation, after making waves at Stade Rennais, made the leap to PSG last summer in a €60 million transfer, bringing with him a massive potential. The comparisons to Neymar have been inescapable. His dribbling, flair, and creativity on the ball all bear a striking resemblance to the Brazilian magician. But far from being a burden, the shadow of Neymar seems to serve as both inspiration and a starting point for Doué's own pathon, paved with talent, hard work, and ambition. And that's precisely why he chose PSG. It's an incredible joy to join this club. It's exciting for a young player like me, but above all, it's a huge source of pride. Paris Saint-Germain is the biggest club in France, one of the greatest clubs in the world, and the project is highly ambitious. This is a team that wants to win titles, go far in every competition, and that's exactly what I want too. I have big goals, I'm ambitious, so I was drawn to this project immediately. From the moment he set foot in Parc des Princes, Doué impressed with his raw technique, ball mastery, and ability to make a difference. It didn't take long for fans and pundits to start drawing parallels to his idol Neymar. The precision of his dribbles, the finesse of his first touches, the signature step over Saul reminiscent of the Brazilian superstar. But what stands out the most isn't that Doué is a copy of Neymar. He's not an imitator, he's a rising talent with his own unique identity. I grew up idolizing Neymar and Lionel Messi. They were at their peak during my teenage years and they made me dream. A true fan of the Brazilian maestro, Doué even pays tribute to him in his goal celebrations. But his goal is not to replicate Neymar's career, it's to write his own story. The comparisons with Neymar? Yes, there are many. Of course, like a lot of players, I take inspiration from different footballers. But I am Désiré Doué, and I want to leave my own mark on football history. But arriving at PSG is one thing. Earning a place in a star-studded squad is another challenge entirely. At the start of the season, Doué had to be patient. He spent most of his time on the bench struggling to make an impact when he came on. No daring dribbles, no electrifying take-ons. It was not the player PSG had expected. The brilliance he had shown at Rennes seemed missing, but he never gave up. Under Luis Enrique, Doué refined his game, learning the demands of football at the highest level. His real journey at PSG was only just beginning. As Luis Enrique always says, every adaptation is different. No two players integrate into a new team the same way. Some players take longer, others adapt faster. But I believe our bet on a player like Désiré Doué is paying off. He had a great season last year at Rennes, playing in multiple positions and performing well. And now, with us, he is proving he can maintain that same level. The PSG coach sees something special in Doué, not just his talent, but his ability to adapt, evolve, and rise to the challenge. And in a squad as competitive as Paris Saint-Germain's, that is exactly what it takes to succeed. Doué is no longer just a young prospect. He is becoming an essential part of the team's future. I try to play with my teammates, read the game better every time. I'm still young, so of course I make mistakes. But I also do some very good things. I keep working hard. The coach helps me a lot, and that's really important for me. I feel good, I feel confident. The coach trusts me, the team does too, and they've welcomed me really well. I'm happy, and I'll keep working. I'm sure I'll get more and more playing time as the season goes on. Passion always pays off. And when Désiré Doué was finally given his moment on the big stage, he wasted no time in making headlines. His performance in the Champions League against Salzburg was a turning point, bold, inspired, and full of confidence. He left his mark on the game, proving that he was ready for the highest level. It was the kind of match that changes a player's trajectory, earning him the trust of his coach and the admiration of the PSG fans. From that night on, the young Frenchman was no longer just a promising talent, he was a rising star with the potential to become a key figure in PSG's future. Now, he is giving us much more. He is still very young, only 19 years old, but we are very happy with his progress. Luis Enrique's words reflect the growing confidence PSG has in Désiré Doué. At just 19, he is no longer just a promising talent, he is becoming a key player. His adaptation is accelerating, and with each game, he is proving that he has what it takes to shine at the highest level. Désiré Doué's playing style carries echoes of Neymar, yet it is uniquely his own. His dribbling acceleration and flawless technique make it impossible to ignore the similarities with the Brazilian magician. From a young age, Doué studied Neymar's game, internalizing key elements of his skill set. The airborne control behind his standing leg, the signature flick dribble, his ball control using the sole of his foot, and his mesmerizing step-overs after locking eyes with his defender. While he has yet to incorporate every trick in Neymar's arsenal, he has an array of tools at his disposal that make him an unpredictable and dazzling presence on the pitch. For Doué, handling the ball seems effortless. He has a natural ability to execute flashy moves like the sombrero flick or the rainbow flick, skills that even as a U13 player he was already perfecting, as recalled by his former youth coach Mathieu Lescornet. However, arriving at PSG, he had more to learn than just flair. Luis Enrique gave him one key piece of advice that has transformed his game. Expand the field. I used to move towards the ball too often when I first arrived. He kept telling me, expand the field, expand the field. That really stuck with me, Doué admitted, and it worked. Now, he plays with more width, takes initiative, and has become an integral part of PSG's attacking rhythm. With 7 goals and 11 assists across all competitions, Doué is proving that he is far more than just an exciting prospect. He is a rising star. His love for one-on-one duels reflects a hunger for direct confrontations, another trait reminiscent of Neymar. There's something we saw in Neymar's ability to stop in front of a defender, analyze their body positioning, and then react based on their movement, explained Romain Ferrier, Doué's U16 coach. His goal against Salzburg in the Champions League was a perfect showcase of his talent. A lightning, quick first touch, a sharp cut to eliminate his marker, and an unstoppable strike into the top corner pure Neymar at his peak. But for Doué, that moment was about more than just the goal. That match was a turning point for me psychologically. Scoring for PSG was a moment I had been waiting for. If Désiré Doué is impressing on the field, it's not just because of his talent, it's also thanks to his elite mentality. Coming from a family of footballers, he shares a deep, almost twin-like connection with his older brother, Gayla Doué, who currently plays for RC Strasbourg. Gayla played a key role in shaping Désiré's discipline and work ethic, something Neymar never quite had during his time at Paris Saint-Germain. My brother is like my twin. We've always considered ourselves that way. We have an incredible bond. We tell each other everything. He helps me tremendously every day, Doué revealed in an interview. He went on to explain how training against his brother in their youth forced him to develop his technique. He was strong defensively, and I was much smaller. It's also thanks to him that I refined my skills. If I have this maturity and discipline today, it's largely because of him. This strong mentality and relentless work ethic make Doué stand out not just as a dribbler, but as an athlete. His former coach even compared him more to Cristiano Ronaldo than Neymar when it comes to his dedication to training and self-improvement. He's much closer to Cristiano Ronaldo than Neymar in terms of work ethic and discipline. He has confidence, but confidence in service of his long-term goals, said one of his former coaches, Rossé Alcocer, his ex-national team coach in the French youth system, further emphasized Doué's physical dominance, calling him a rare machine of an athlete, capable of repeating high-intensity efforts like Ronaldo. Unlike Neymar, who often seeks to evade defenders with finesse, Doué leans into physical duels, using his strong base and upper body strength to challenge opponents head-on. This warrior mentality was further refined at Stade Rennais, where he trained in an intense, high-performance environment. His former Rennes coach, Julien Stéphan, only had praise for the young star. Désiré has always had the ability to learn quickly. He's grounded and knows exactly where he wants to go. That confidence was on full display in PSG's Champions League clash against Liverpool, stepping onto the pitch at Anfield, one of football's most intimidating stadiums. The 19-year-old showed no fear. He injected pace, energy, and technique into PSG's attack, before coolly converting the match-winning penalty, silencing the English crowd. That performance was a defining moment for Doué, and earned him a well-deserved spot in Didier Deschamps' squad for the UEFA Nations League. at just 19 years old. He is proving that he is not just a future star, he is already becoming one. Facing Croatia, Désiré Doué might finally get his first minutes with the French national team. One thing is certain, he will do everything in his power to stay there. However, despite his undeniable talent, not everything is perfect. Some observers have started pointing out a rising arrogance, something that echoes Neymar's early days. During a Coupe de France match against a lower-tier amateur side, Doué attempted to put on a show, overindulging in flashy skills rather than focusing on efficiency. His excessive dribbling and unnecessary tricks did not go unnoticed. Renowned journalist Daniel Riolo did not hold back his criticism after the match. Désiré Doué, whom I've praised recently for his initiative and character, showed worrying signs tonight. A player acting arrogant against a small team is never a good sign, Riolo stated on Afterfoot. This hunger for recognition, while understandable in a young player trying to make his mark, can sometimes backfire. Too much confidence can become counterproductive, not just for his own development, but also for the harmony of the team. These are crucial details that Doué must address if he wants to avoid falling into the trap of self-importance and losing his collective impact. Riolo went even further with his critique. He was extremely pretentious. He acted like the worst version of Neymar trying to dribble three guys, showing off against these kids, these so-called peasants from National 3. If he has this problem, then he will never become the player I hope he can be. If I were Luis Enrique, I'd sit him down and give him a serious lesson in humility. While this arrogance might rub some the wrong way, it also reflects a player who is supremely confident in his talent. But he must learn to balance flair with responsibility if he truly wants to reach the highest level. So, is Désiré Doué destined for greatness? All signs point in the right direction: a raw talent, steady progression, and a mentality that can take him to the top. But the road ahead is long. Football history is filled with young prodigies who shined brightly before fading away. It is now up to Doué to prove that he is more than just another promising talent, that he can become a key figure for PSG and perhaps the French national team. What do you think? Is Désiré Doué the future leader of PSG? Can he follow in Neymar's footsteps? Let us know in the comments.